In the kingdom of Ashura, where music was a universal language, a young woman named Liana lived a life of poverty and hardship. She had lost her parents at a tender age to a disease and was forced to live on the streets, scrounging for scraps to survive. She had never known her parents' family, and none of them ever tried to look for her or even make an attempt to care for her. Her only solace was music, which she had learned from a kindly old musician who had taken her under his wing. He had found her searching for a job on one of his solos and had compassion on her. He took her in and taught her how to sing and play the lute. She enjoyed every music session she had with him, and when no one is around she sings till her eyes are cloudy with tears. Despite her difficult circumstances, Liana's powerful voice had earned her a reputation as a talented singer. However, not everyone was a fan of hers. Many people in the kingdom looked down on her because of her impoverished background, and some even went so far as to call her names and spread rumors about her. One day, as Liana was walking through the market, she was confronted by a group of cruel women who had always despised her. "Look at her, she thinks she's so special just because she can sing," one of the women sneered. "But she's just a poor, dirty street rat." Liana tried to ignore them, but they continued to taunt her, calling her names and making fun of her tattered clothes. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, one of the women threw a rotten tomato at Liana, hitting her squarely in the face. Liana was devastated. She ran out of the market, tears streaming down her face. But as she turned the corner, she saw a familiar face waiting for her. "Liana, I'm so sorry," her friend, Sophia, said, rushing to her side. "I saw what happened. Those women are just jealous of your talent." Sophia was from a wealthy family, but she had always been kind to Liana, despite their different backgrounds. Sophia's father was a wealthy trader and also good friends with the king. The two girls had met by chance at a music festival, and they had quickly become close friends. "Thanks, Sophia," Liana said, wiping away her tears. "I don't know what I would do without you." Sophia smiled and put a comforting arm around Liana's shoulders. "You'll never have to find out," she said. "Now, let's get you cleaned up. We have a competition to prepare for." The kingdom had announced a grand singing competition, where the winner would receive a substantial sum of gold and a chance to sing for the kingdom's royal family. Liana had decided to participate only because Sophia had insisted she did. "I don't know, Sophia," Liana had said. "I'm not sure I'm good enough." But Sophia had encouraged her to try out, and now Liana was more determined than ever to win. She would win for her friend, Sophia. As the day of the competition approached, Liana practiced tirelessly, perfecting her technique and rehearsing her songs. Sophia was always there to support her, offering words of encouragement and helping her to prepare. Every day, Liana practiced the songs the old musician taught her over and over again. She sang with grace, poise, and effortless ease. "You look like an angel," Sophia would say after every practice with admiration in her eyes. Finally, the day of the competition arrived. Liana and Sophia arrived at the competition venue, a grand hall filled with people from all over the kingdom. Liana's heart was racing with excitement and nerves as she took her place alongside the other contestants. There were 5 other singers competing against Liana, each with their own unique style and talent. There was Marcus, a charming young man with a smooth, velvety voice; Elara, a petite woman with a powerful, operatic voice; Jax, a ruggedly handsome man with a rock-like voice; Lila, a sweet, innocent-looking girl with a gentle, folk-like voice; and Victoria, a stunningly beautiful woman with a sultry, seductive voice. As the competition began, each contestant took their turn singing, and Liana was blown away by their talent. At the start of the first performance, the king sat forward in his seat, obviously mesmerized by Lila's talent and poise. Liana began to doubt herself, wondering if she had what it took to win. But Sophia was there to encourage her, reminding her of her own unique talent and style. As the competition continued, Liana found herself competing against some tough opponents. Marcus was charming and smooth, but he lacked depth and emotion. Delilah was powerful and operatic, but she was also cold and distant. Jax was rugged and rock-like, but he was also rough and unpolished. But Eleanor's biggest competitor was Victoria, the stunningly beautiful woman with the sultry, seductive voice. Victoria was confident and charismatic, and she seemed to have the judges and the audience wrapped around her finger. As the competition neared its end, Liana began to feel the pressure. She was the last contestant. When it was her turn to sing, Liana stood before the audience, a vision of elegance and poise. As she took a deep breath, her chest rose, and her shoulders relaxed, releasing any tension. Her eyes, bright and expressive, sparkled with a hint of nervous excitement, but as she began to sing, they closed, and her face tilted upward, as if embracing the music itself. Her lips, full and inviting, curved into a subtle, enigmatic smile, hinting at the emotions that lie beneath the surface. As her voice flowed forth, it was like a warm, golden light that filled the room, enveloping everyone in its radiance. Her tone was rich and velvety, with a subtle vibrato that added depth and nuance to every note. Each phrase was crafted with precision and care, as if she was weaving a delicate tapestry of sound. Her voice soared and dipped, dancing across the melodic landscape with effortless ease. It was as if she's having a conversation with the music itself, coaxing out hidden emotions and secrets that only she can hear. The audience was entranced, hanging on every note, every phrase, every breath. They were transported to a world of beauty and wonder, where the cares and worries of everyday life fade away, and all that's left is the pure, unadulterated joy of music. As she sang, her very being seemed to vibrate with the music, as if she had become one with the melody itself. It was a truly magical experience, one that left the audience spellbound and yearning for more. Her powerful voice filled the hall, captivating the audience and the king. When she finished, the arena erupted in applause, and Liana felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. The king, who was in attendance, was particularly impressed with Liana's performance. He summoned her to the palace and praised her talent, saying that she had a voice that could charm the birds from the trees. The prince, who had been watching Liana from the sidelines, was also smitten by her talent and beauty. He began to visit her regularly, and soon they fell deeply in love. But not everyone was happy about their relationship. Some of the ladies at court, who had been vying for the prince's attention, began to spread rumors about Liana, trying to paint her in a bad light. However, the king and the prince were not fooled by their schemes. Instead, they were even more impressed by Liana's kindness, humility, and talent. The king, in particular, was so taken by Liana that he began to shower her with gifts and favors. He gave her a beautiful mansion, complete with a stunning garden and a private lake. He also granted her a large sum of gold and jewels, and even gave her the authority to make decisions on behalf of the kingdom. Liana was overwhelmed by the king's generosity, but she was also grateful for his kindness. She used her newfound wealth and authority to help those in need, and built homes for orphanages throughout the kingdom. As for the prince, he was overjoyed to have found his true love in Liana. He proposed to her in a grand ceremony, and they were married in a beautiful wedding that was attended by people from all over the kingdom. Liana and the prince lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with kindness, wisdom, and music. They had children and grandchildren, and their legacy lived on for generations to come. And as for Liana's music, it continued to be a source of inspiration and joy for the kingdom. She sang at every royal occasion, and her voice was always met with thunderous applause. In the end, Liana's talent, kindness, and beauty had brought her from rags to riches, and she lived happily with the love of her life.